friends. This is just a quick one on, maybe something that you can use or not use or whatever. When you buy a fly rod, a good one or a cheap one or whatever, you typically get it in, one of these really nice cases. This is an older Orvis one, and it, comes inside the thing, and it's a nice case, right? You can ship with these things. It's got what kind of rod it is up on the top. Very, very nice. The problem is, I always like to keep my reel. I use particular reels with particular rods and typically loaded with particular line. It's not very often I'm switching line around or reels around too much. I like particular reels with particular rods with particular lines. So I tend to like the kind of rod holders that have a place for the reel. And in fact, this one has enough space for two. So I had this Winston rod, and I didn't have a case for it, and it was driving me nuts, that have that kind of a thing. And I went to the local, shops and Cabela's and stuff, and they were, I don't want to say pretty pricey, but they were pretty pricey. So real quickly, I had a weird Redington 5-piece rod case for a 5-piece rod. And I had another case here. I'm not sure what this was for. This was the tube. And I just basically duct taped it onto the end of here. So I would have a rod case for my Winston rod. Now, I've taken this fishing a few times, and my friends have mocked me for kind of having a janky case for my very expensive Winston rod. And in fly fishing, it's all about looks and style, and you don't want to look like you have this low rate kind of put together kind of stuff. So I said, okay, I have to bite the bullet. Well, I buy a lot of stuff, especially for my classes when I have to buy bulk things. I buy stuff from TEMU and eBay and those kinds of places. And so I was just happened to be on TEMU, and all of a sudden a bunch of cases came up that were, I want to say they were under $10. And basically it's a case that looks like this, and it has Sujal, whatever that is, Sugaliang on this side. I may do something about that. So I just bought it. I just opened it up. Look at that. It even comes with a strap. Oh yeah, so it'll strap up on the top here. One important thing with these kind of rod cases, well, actually two important things, because I've bought different ones before, is that I'm looking at this right now for the first time. First of all, it's stiff all the way back to here. There's some of these cases that are stiff to the rod part, and then this is soft here, which gives your rod no sort of protection that way. This one is wrapped pretty well. It's and if you can see, it goes all the way to that far. So that's a nice amount of wrapping around there. Also, the inside of the case is lined. So basically it's a plastic tube in there. That's lined also. The end looks pretty good. Sometimes there's a bit of foam down here at the end, which is awfully nice. So I'm going to see if my very expensive Winston B3 rod the Lamson reel will fit. If I look at it like this, it looks like it's just about the right size. So the first thing I'm going to do is just stick these in, see how they fit. And they seem to be doing okay. Oh yeah, that's really nice. Fits in there good. And then I'm going to put this in. Now some of these cases have a separate sleeve. You know what? I didn't check this one. I'm going to check. I doubt it. I can't believe for the price it would be right. Sometimes they have two compartments in the hole here, and this one doesn't. It's just the one compartment. So, but the two compartments are so you can put your your three pieces in one compartment, and this part in a second compartment. This one doesn't have that, but I can live without that. Now let's see if that goes in there. There we go. Boom, bada boom, bada bing. So now I have an almost okay rod holder for my Winston rod. I might put some duct tape or something over that. But that's kind of cool. It's nice and orange. Normally on my rods, I do write on them. See, it says 5-weight Winston on this one. I'll have to change that. So I'll probably put maybe something over that, and it'll say my 5-weight Winston. So that's all I wanted to show you, is that you can pick these up really, really cheap. And it's worth every penny, obviously, because now it's protecting my rod. If I were hyper super concerned, I might even put a little bit of like padding in here. But you know what? Fly rods are used to be, they're tools, and you can't get too careful about them. If you get too careful about your gear, you tend to not use it as much. Okay, so I treat all my fly rods as if they're tools, but otherwise it seems to be sewn together pretty nicely. This is kind of a nice Cordura, and this is a nice touch too here. So at the end of the zipper, they have it bound with a rivet, so kind of like a Levi jean, so that that won't loosen up over time. So I think it's a pretty good deal for the price. So there you go. That's my little review, and I'm not going to be Mr. Duct Tape guy anymore. I thought I did a pretty nice job, actually, but, you know, I got my share of disses from it. So I'll pull out my Sugeling case, and I'll pull out my Winston rod right out of it. All right. Have a good one. Like and subscribe to all that stuff. Okay. See ya. Bye.